The Perth Racing Preview is where the Straight Up team finds you the winners, and here's the Straight Up team with their preview of Saturday racing from Ascot.
McGinnity.
Mart.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah, looking well.
Hello, Riley.
Hello, Brad.
A1 Engineering, Sheila Gwynne Classic. I know it's one of your favourite races. You're
Sure
pumped
is.
up for it?
Always.
Yeah. 1,400 metres of the best.
Time honoured.
Yep. And that'll be running at about 4:46 with the favourite Bon Joy. I thought she was having a break. No, this was always the plan?
I don't think it was always the plan, but sometimes, Mart, plan A doesn't work, so you have to go and take a look at plans B, C, or even D sometimes, but have trust, I think, in Skinny Miller. He's done it before, this preparation already, so I don't think you can be too critical of that little setback and a little bit more of a gap between runs and what is probably what we're accustomed to.
Sometimes money talks as well. So the rail position is in the true good 4, and I think it's going to be a cracking like 28, isn't it? Nice day for a powder blue jacket. Yeah, mostly sunny.
Oh, you on course, Mark? You on course?
I'll be incommunicado, mate. You won't be finding
the
me.
legions will be there waiting to see you.
Don't reveal.
Whereabouts might you be milling around, Mark?
Stop it.
Whereabouts might you be?
Up the top.
Cool.
That's as high a point as you can get
It's only
at
one.
Ascot Racecourse.
Yeah, should be a good day, though. Looking forward to it.
Well, I'll send you a text from downstairs and I won't get a reply till after the last saying, sorry, mate, I've left.
Yeah, going out the back door. So what about the meeting?
My
Listen,
message failed to send.
just before we get out, don't forget Narrogin Cup 2 on Saturday.
Indeed.
And then we've got the Bluff Knoll on Sunday. So other markers we need to cover.
Indeed. Both markets up already and a bit of activity too, which is great to
Wow,
see.
there we go. I didn't realise that the Bluff market was up. So
Shannon.
as we
Yeah.
get our ducks in a line, might go take a little sneaky look
Wrote
at
them
that.
in favourite.
Yeah, 280.
We've got Paul Hunter on too between 5 and 6. He can tell us how
Jeez.
his charge is going for it.
There's a meerkat. There's a couple of meerkats
Yeah,
in
there
that
are.
market already.
Oh, hang on, he's been caught.
Oh, jeepers.
I like to be pre-warned about my meerkats.
Drummond Golf Handicap is the first. It's over the 1,200 metres. We're running on a good 4. Should be perfect out there on Saturday. And nice drink of rain. The Savo too wouldn't have hurt the track. A 1 Elite Missile off the top, 11 into 750. Smooth Mover, they went up $2. It's into $1.75. KTY Impressive, 260. Courts Records, 31. Jackpot Bingo is 16. Likes to chant 81. And Salty Miss, 26.
Good betting race early, Mark, for a small field. The early local pro money, 1,500 at the 240 KTY. Eastern States pros lining up for Schmoove Mover, 2,500 at the $1.85, or 1,500 at starting price. A couple of $1,000 bets there at the 2 and the $1.80. Plenty of 2 and 300s there. Schmoove Mover, local pro money Elite Missile at the $11 each way there, and more money Elite Missile, a bit of 400 each way activity. So.
Maybe our friend Duppy's getting involved. I know he's pretty in with that camp, the SJ Miller camp, in a bit of form at the moment. So he's got a bit to play with, I think, our friend, the Dupster. But a great start to the day, Brad.
Might use his $100 voucher on it.
Yes. Smart. Smart. Sharp. The sharp money.
I see he's left Bellini Miss in the Sheila Gwynne as well. Quantum Step. So after Duppy got some of that, what was it, 20s last week?
$26, I think.
Oh, he shocked
Someone tipped Bellini Miss on this program,
Don't know
I think, last
who
week.
it was. Got
Wasn't-
no idea who that was. And the great man found the winner of the sprint.
No one pushing buttons today. She's getting a coffee again, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know where she is. Knocked off.
Yeah.
Storm Boy.
Don't blame her.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, that was deserved. That was very well deserved. But no, really good race to kick off the day. Only a small field. Tantalising clash here, Bradley. Schmoove Mover, KTY. Schmoove Mover we'll start with, has been well supported early. Got the job done in perhaps maybe a little less than convincing fashion last start, but It was his first time at 1,400. He did a little bit wrong. He copped a couple of big checks very late in the piece, but was able to stick his neck out at the right time. The challenge is he's now mid-prep, back to 1,200, rises pretty significantly in weight from a barrier that I thought could become somewhat problematic if he wasn't to lead here, Brad. But I just think with the lack of speed in this race that it might be the way Chris Parnham goes about it in finding the fence with him from that inside draw and leading them up. Maybe a slight concern for me on what was expected of him was the fact that he maybe regressed a fraction when he was trending like he was looking for 1,400 metres with his run last start. It took him the length of the straight to really wind up and get past Gigi Pops, who didn't exactly set the world on fire with her run subsequently. I think the second horse through that race, Secret Attraction's a quality Saturday mare, but gee, I thought KTY was impressive the way he won first up.
Couldn't agree more. And agree with you about the speed map concerns too. Smooth Mover maybe does get straight to the front. Does this mean KTY needs to maybe do something a bit upside down and have a look at the breeze, or who knows how that could transpire early? Will be very interesting to watch. There's a few others, probably not in relation to this race, but going forward that are worth having a good look at. Court's Record, that was a nice trial for those having a sneaky look. Salty Miss also has plenty of ability. And Elite Missile, when it gets probably looking for a bit longer, but when it does, they don't try much better.
All right, so Pakenham race number 4. You want to wrap this one up on the first?
Yeah, I thought the gap in the market a bit big for mine. I thought KTY won like a really nice 3-year-old first up, and if Smooth Mover was to end up leaders back and running, I thought this looked a nice scenario for Pike to just wind up into the race at his own leisure, sitting off them with a horse that has a black-type turn of foot for mine moving forward potentially if he keeps progressing the way he looks like he's going to. So KTY on top for me, Marty. Okay. I'm taking on the short price favourite in the opener.
Thank you, David. Looking forward to catching up with you in here soon. 4, 8, 10, 3 numbers. Pakenham, Flying Mean, Ben Mallam, $2.10. Stone Age Romeo, $2.60. Grouse Mountain at $1.60. Cudmore Street was 4th. 11.10 Quinella, $16 exacta. 45.20 trifecta. First 4, 8, 10, 3, 1,035.60. 15 and 4, the double, 27.60. The quaddie 3, 3, 15 and 4, $120.30. 2, 6, 7 and 14 out. Pakenham race 5. We've got a benchmark 70 over the 1,200. Rubology is $12. A Super Nima, $4.40. 3 is Dakari, $9.50. 4 Proved, $1.85. And 5 Jewel Venture is $4. You are listening to Straight Up, our preview of Ascot racing on Saturday. McGinnity, Riley and myself, and we're moving on to race number 2, which is the Tap Touch Westspeed Platinum Handicap over the 1,200 metres. And let's have a look at the betting here with number 1, Flick the Switch, 650 firm, 2 Famous Journey, 18 into 13, 3 Grand Reserve is 13, Hymns of Aladare, $1.95 to $1.90, Invincible Ruby, 20, number 6 Boat Talk is 13 to 10 after opening at 9, Chop Suey, 5.50, 8, Brazen Empress, 14 out to 18, and number 9 Star Power has been $26, specced into 14.
Long-range meerkat, Martin. Hymns of Elodie, 1,750 at the $1.95. Flick the Switch, 300 there at $6.50. Chop Suey, 300 at the $8. Eastern States Sharpies are snipping away at Famous Journey and Star Power. Rolls?
Yeah, I thought Hymns of Aladare looked the best bet on the program, doing the form for this race. Smart, but was hoping for
shorter now.
Yeah, that's the obvious sticking point. I thought there might be a bit more meat on the bone, but Bradley clearly of the belief as well that this bloke does look very hard to beat. Back into a Westspeed Platinum, which isn't the deepest of Westspeed contests you will find either at his third run back for the prep. I thought the return win at Bunbury was super. Last start closed off really well late in Graduation Company behind Hang Glider. I think that's form that could really hold up on this program on the weekend. As well, as mentioned, drops in grade, drawn beautifully. Pike jumps on board, just ticks a lot of boxes here. This horse, I do think he looks very hard to beat, but he's no value at that current price. At the moment, from a value point of view, Bo Talk probably wasn't too inferior a run to Hims of Elladare through that same race. First up, if Matty Derrick could kick through to lead with him here, I could certainly see him running a really good race at the double figures and a generous each way price as well. But he's been a very tricky horse to catch over the journey and does just find ways to get himself beat or not give himself the best opportunity to run his best race, and Barrier 1 could prove a little problematic all the same. And good to see Flick the Switch in town, who's been dominating the Great Southern Circuit. I love how she travels into and puts them away, or has been putting them away in her races down there. But they bring her to town and they test her over 1,200 metres, which she's yet to see in her career. I would have perhaps preferred to have seen her come to town and contest a race over the 1,000 or the 1,100 metres, where she has been really belting them down there in the Great Southern.
Yeah, inclined to agree. There's the favour looks the obvious, doesn't it? Because there's a few queries on those others in the market. Flick the Switch 1,200, bit of a query there. Chop Suey seems to go a bit better down the straight rolls than it does around a corner. And Grand Reserve's a bit of a grindy type, surely looking for longer. Bo Talk's the one you could make a case for, but as you said, Riley needs things to go its way, needs the right sort of run, needs to get out and moving. So the more I look at the market, the more I think maybe Hims of Elladare could even start shorter.
That's very well placed.
Yep. Race number 3, the Glenroy Chaff Plate. It's over 1,000 metres for the 2-year-olds. Start time 1:39. And 1 Split the G. Last start winner, 550 into 420. King's Court, 557. 3 My Riches, 23 to 31. 4 Exceed the Boom, 850 to 650. 5 Delta Sun, 34. 6 Never Specified, 31. 7 Hey True Blue, 19. 8 Mr. Kissinger, 17. 9 Golden Opera, 14. Beautifully Brad is number 10 at 26. 11 Desert Life, 5 440. 12 God's Rapture, 16. 13 My Testimony, 51 to 31. 14 Spicy Thang, $18.
It's brutally Brad. Not beautifully Brad, but that's
brutally.
Paging Dr. Freud. There might be a bit of subconscious activity going on there, Mark. I get it. Split the G, 600 at 480, 600 at 440, 600 at 440, 600 at 420, 500 at 550 early. Wow. Exceed the Boom at 500 at $7. Spicy Thang, I think that's how you pronounce that. A couple of $200 bets there at the $16, and a bit of money there for God's Rapture too, a couple of $111. This is a salivating race, Rolls.
Yeah, good luck. That's all I'll say. This is tough. Gee, you'd think Brad Split the G, omen bet of the century on St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah, that was very good work by Latho on the on the X.
Omen bet of the century. There will be plenty on course trying to split the G on the weekend. One very impressively on debut, this horse, albeit still a little bit green, draws the coveted fence here in Barrier 1, and I thought could hold up in a really positive position for Jade McNaught. Very respecting of her performance on debut. Exceed the Boom, looked the goods at the trials, wide throughout, 4th on debut behind Yes Queen and Talk & Co. Many suggesting that's the strongest 2-year-old race we've seen to date. Gotcha. Should get a... Mart's clearly got someone down the line. Should get a... Exceed the Boom, should get a gun run from the draw as well. Brad, he's shown some really good tactical speed in his trials as well, and you could make a case for a number of these given the manner in which they've jumped out. King's Court, brutally Brad, jumped out really well. Desert Life and God's Rapture also looked the goods at the trials as well.
Right, we're wrapping up.
Yes, we are. Wrapping up race number 3 for the 2-year-olds. I didn't have a really strong opinion here, Brad. I did really like the jump out of Brutally Brad, funnily enough. I do think the barrier looks a bit tricky for her on debut, but gee, I thought she went good in that 400-metre jump out. Looks like there might be some ability there for one at longer odds, but yeah, tricky race.
Isn't it? I'm excited to see it. It's so many unraced who have trolled nicely versus a few handy-looking raced types. So they're starting to warm up for the Karrakatta, so it's fair to suggest the stables have a bit of an opinion about the ones they're unveiling now. So the market's starting to spit out a few rolls. And one of those ones that I'm looking at is Wolfie's horse, Hey True Blue. was a pretty decent fan of those trials. Noted that it hasn't been nommed for the Karrakatta, but neither is Pure Silver. Fury Spark. So it was pretty impressive on Saturday. It wasn't nommed either.
It was.
So God's Rapture, another one for your Novs. Two very nice trials. But $23, Hey True Blue, that'll get me.
Okay.
There you go.
Spec bet there.
Blue.
MCA Polytrack Handicap is race number 4 over the 1,000 metres. Capray Omnia is 950. Pin Deep, 10, 12, 10. 2 Darty, 380 to 290. Sinful Living, 9, 11, 10. Zing to Wing, 460 out to 7. Number 6, Keep It a Mystery, 7 to 480. 7, Shooting Spirit, $5. 8, Golden Fighter. Spec'd in a big odds is Bradley, 71 to 34. And 9, If I Didn't Have a Dime, is 61.
And a nice little spread of money, Mark. 2 Darty early, they're quite keen. 700 at the 380. Another 500 at the 380, 500 at the 340, 500 at the 330. Plenty of $200 bets at the 330 and 320. Zing to Win, 500 at the 550. Keep It a Mystery, a couple of 500s there at the $6 and 550. That is Eastern States Pro Money, ESP, Mark.
Few ESPs getting involved here in race number 4. I'm pretty keen, seemingly so are many, with the movements in this market. 2 Darty resumes here, first up, no trial, and he's just a pretty bomb-proof horse, fresh. I've always really liked him. He was a dominant winner first up last campaign. He really spanked Miss Flirtatious over the concluding stages there. Preparation prior to that, very unlucky when a close-up second behind Berberet and Comic Hero in that finish on a heavy track at Belmont Park. They stretched him out a little bit last preparation, Brad, and he certainly, I didn't think anyway, was as dynamic or as effective when they did stretch him out to the 7 furlongs. I think the 1,000 to the 1,200 metres is where he's done his best work in his career to date. There looks to be really strong speed engaged here. I thought Sean O'Donnell should be able to just park midfield at worst with a bit of cover and work into the race at the right time. So I was pretty keen on 2 Darty. Wouldn't mind a bit more, something $3 plus here. Isn't far off it at the moment at $2.90, but I did think it looked a really nice race for him to resume. Very respecting of Keep It a Mystery, who gets Chris Parnham on for The Apprentice, gets some weight off his back, and he's really well placed here out of 3-year-old exclusive racing, where he's been more than holding his own in strong races. And Shooting Spirit has really turned a corner for Simon Miller as well. This is certainly a lot deeper than the race he put away midweek, but he's got a really nice turn of foot and could be dangerous late with a cuddled up run from that inside draw under Lucy Fiore.
Yeah, I agree. It's looks a decent enough tempo. The 2 Darty, I haven't liked a lot of its runs over longer and later in the prep. I just think it copped a lot of bad setups, a lot of races that just did not pan out for it. It's obviously going well to be straight into this race first up, so I just had it a little bit bigger, so I'm not going to get the price I want there. But a few others at the market spitting out now that you could entertain. Horses like a Shooting Spirit or a Zing to Win, both look like they're going to put in a very nice performance on Saturday, so there are a few that I'll be possibly looking at if 2 Darty stays this short.
It's nice trial, Zing to Win. Fair horse flesh in behind him as well. Joker's Grin Ginnivan. Clearly feeling himself as well with the manner in which he skipped 8 to 10 lengths clear of the field at one stage. So they've got him humming, the Pierce boys.
100%.
About the toppy, Capri Omnia.
It's holding great form.
Is it ever?
Consistent as they come.
Going super.
Do we wait for the money? They seem to back it when it wins.
I just thought perhaps this was maybe a bit of a trickier setup to that race. He found last start, and when he did win down the straight the start prior, and I think it's important to note that his 2 wins this campaign have been down the straight at Pinjarra Mart.
Okay. All right, let's go to
Really does his best work
in town.
Yeah, yes.
Yep. Race number 5 is the Hugh Jamieson Trophy. It's over the 1,200 metres. Start time is 2:59. Let's have a look at the board here. Charlton Eddy, $31. Silver Eye, 650, 550. 3 Speed Dream is 21. 4 is Brave Strike. $4 into 3. 5 Cessation, 330 to 290. 6 Corn Cobbers, 21. 7 Hang Glider, $5. And 8 Supportive, $12.
Mart. Brave Strike, the local pros, pretty keen early. A couple of $700 bets there at the $4. Another $800 at the $370, which was Eastern States Pro money. A couple of Eastern States Pros also keen Silver Eye there. A couple of $300 bets at the $6. And then they stepped into Cessation. A couple of $1,000 bets there at the $330 and the $320. They are the three leading to Hang Glider being spat out a little bit in the market. Rolls?
Yeah, interesting. I seem to think it might go the other way. It was some win last start with the run he had, Hang Glider. This certainly isn't the strongest of 72-plus fields that you'll find. Drops a couple of 2.5 kilos off his back, and should, you'd think, find a handy enough spot in running here. Once again, very respectful of him, and that win, gee, was big. Big last start.
And second up.
100%. And yeah, I really struggled with this one, Brad. I thought this was very tricky. I could see Silver Eye really jumping out of the ground, second up to 1,200 metres. Never a happy horse fresh over the 1,000 in a race that wasn't run to suit. But I am a bit of a concern with the interrupted prep. The trial was super, but was 6 weeks from that trial into that first up run. So there's a bit of a concern that he has had an interrupted preparation this time in. Cessation's on the back up after being grabbed in the shadows at Bunbury by Marty Young over 1,200 metres last weekend. Maps for an easy lead here, only has 53 kilos after Luke Campbell's claim. I think this is a really nice placement for it, and could have a few handy roadblocks up there around the speed with her too, to give her a nice little buffer on some key rivals like Corn Cob and Charlton Eddie, no disrespect, horses that are likely to settle up there on speed as well, who are going to get better as they build into their preparations. And then, Brad, you have Brave Strike out of the Marjorie Charleston Fresh, gets Pike back on and perhaps just wasn't suited to leading on that occasion.
Yeah, the money's come, but it just looks a bit of a sticky
it does.
Type setup for mine. And for me, the way the market's going, I think Hang Glider's an easy enough bet for me to have. Always hate, they got the win on the board and you missed the price, but the price was certainly there, and now you've got to take $5 or $6, but still, it seems enough with this sort of setup.
He just hasn't been a horse. He's always had that ability, hasn't he? But he's just never been a horse that's been able to string a few together. I've always found him a very hard horse to catch, Hang Glider. But very, very big on his win last start. And at the moment, Marty, he would be the value in the market as it stands.
He's still 3 from 26, isn't he? Right, okay.
Are you suggesting that's a good strike rate?
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you.
Leave me out of race number 5.
Okay, we go to race 6, the Ballast Racing Joiner Racing Syndicate Handicap over the 2,100 metres. And this race is due to go at 3:37. By the way, football scores 1 point all after, there's 16 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 1 Queen of Jerusalem is 16, 2 Covert Rose 290 to 265, Royal Law 11 to 10, Savorsky 6 to 7, 5 Warley Lass is 6 out to 750. 6 Holdout, 850 to 12. 7 Royal Splendour is 15 into 11. 8 Taranaki, 13. 9 Al Nord is 71. 10 Gold Friars, 14 into 11. 11 Il Giro del Mondo's 31.26. And Lord Randolph, 51.31.
A lot of those little trim-ups and markets merging, Mart.
MMs.
Covert Rose, local pro money, LPM, 1,100 at the 280. Taranaki, 400 wins at the $12. Oh, champion, you can go again. Bit of each way support, Royal Law there at the $11. That's about it. It's a pretty mild betting race, Rolls.
Yeah, tricky staying contests, Bradley. I thought Covert Rose looked the obvious if she can handle the step up in trip. She looks like she's got a bit more, I use the word class with a bit of hesitance, but she does look the classiest runner in this field, in that the way she's been racing and the way she's been able to string a few wins together last preparation too in stronger company than this, albeit over a lesser distance. Thought she was really good on return at Bunbury. Clear run of the race last start. Came from the tail in a race that was dominated from those that settled close to the speed. Was just unable to pick up here for checks over the concluding stages. Finds are relatively not the strongest of staying contests, and I think her quality will take her a long way, especially with that man in the saddle, with the way he's returned to riding at the moment. The value for me is Taranaki, who comes through what was a pretty genuinely run 2,200 metre contest at his second run here in WA for Luke Fernie. He went 15.70 at Belmont first up, straight up to the 22 second up, and really liked his run first up here in WA. Had to do a bit of work to get across in a fast run race last start, and then perhaps just didn't find the right part of the track when held up at a vital stage as they were starting to make their runs as well, with Jade having to go back to the inside. So third up with a bit of added fitness with that run under the belt at the staying trip, I thought Taranaki posed a little bit of value in a very open race.
Yeah, with the current prices, not much grabbing me. I could spec Goldfriars each way. Looks nice enough setup for it. I'd probably rather have an each way bet on it than play any other horses that are a bit shorter in the market. So that might be one that gets me Goldfriars each way, but not overly perturbed about having a wager in this race, Mark.
Let's get into this preview again, and we are now up to race number 7. The Peters Investments handicap over the 1,400 metres, start time at 4:11. And one of your favourites, Count the Szechuan, 10 out to 15, 2 Siberian Siren, 440 to 5, 3 Knots Secret, 19 to 17, 4 Our Mate Archie, 380, 350, 5 Strike Now's 26, 6 Trio, 480 to 550, 7 Our Rocky Bay 9, 950, into 650, 8 Rocket Juice, $11, 9 Golden Kathleen, 950 to 750, and 10 Mr. Raffles, $20.
Trio, Mart, 1,750 at the 550, if you don't mind. Local pros don't mind Our Mate Archie early. A couple of $750 bets at the $3.80. Golden Kathleen, 400 at the 750. Our Rocky Bay, ESP Smart, 300 at the 8. 300 really? At the 8. And 300 Golden Kathleen at the 9. And a bit more local sharp money, Our Rocky Bay at the 850, around that mark with the $300 there. Rolls.
Yeah, tricky race, Brad. Numerous winning chances for mine. Our Mate Archie, favourite, really knocking on the door. Second behind Memory Parade, second behind Fluoro Neuro. Last start dropped back to 1,200, drew wide. Got a long way back in a muddlingly run race, and I don't think could have run any better with the run he had, the way that he finished off on that occasion. He's back up to 1,400 metres. I think he can land in the box seat on the back of the leader from Barrier 1, and if Jared Noske can get him working into the race when he needs to without being pocketed back to that inside, I think it looks a really good race for him to finally put what would be, I know some people don't like the terminology, but it would be a deserving Saturday win on the board with how he's been going. Siberian Siren could cross and lead here back in grade, was only grabbed late last start by Watch Me Rock and Angel Undercover, and as we know, that's really good form for a race of this nature. The 1,400 perhaps the only slight concern, and the big rise in weight. I thought that perhaps she could be slightly vulnerable late. As a result, Trio, another huge chance as well if Pike can allow him that 3 deep cover, flowing run into the race. Never saw daylight last start at Pinjarra when he looked to be bolting, and that's proven to be a hot little form race as well. And Count the Sessions, always a chance in this grade as well, Brad.
Just chime in here. Siberian Siren last start drew wide, and I thought they'd go back, and it was out in front on a day when you couldn't lead and win, could you? That was the pattern that day. I was a bit surprised. Would he go back this time or go forward from 10?
I thought they'd go forward.
Again.
I don't think there's a...
I reckon they'll come out with an open mind. Let's put it that way. They'll be happy to see how things...
I'd love to see her back and let her... She's got a rocketing finish.
She's flying. That first up run was...
And she's a grunt out of a Londro mare. If she's ridden right, she'll get the 1,400.
another one like our mate Archie, who is absolutely knocking on the door, Siberian Siren. So, yeah, it's a tough race for me. I think Trio is also probably going better than maybe the form sort of suggests. Is almost pretty much right there, ready to win 1 and 2, Trio. So a race that I'll be staying out of at the current prices, but there'll certainly be some decent form coming out of it, I think.
Yes, agree. And one down the bottom of the page, Marty, Mr. Raffles.
Yeah, won well.
Only won a maiden last start, but, gee, he's got a bit of ability, a bit of greenness and a bit of X-factor, this horse.
Named after Mart when he used to live in the South Perth region.
Oh, geez, it was an iconic hotel once. Not secret, my old mate Scotty just can't sort of get this horse to win anymore.
Just seems a bit out of form.
Yeah.
Not secret.
Bit
Just a touch.
grindy.
Yeah.
Needs a lot to go right.
And what about Rocket Juice, the Bondi?
Going well.
Yes, well, actually, you know what? I had factored in that we likely wouldn't be seeing him on Saturday because he was down to race today. So that has obviously, with today's abandonment, likely to see him in this race on the weekend, I think. Can certainly run very, very well.
Okay. Done and dusted. We go to the A1 Engineering Sheila Gwynne Classic. It's over the 1,400 metres. And the start time here is 4:46. We look at the board, and one is Bonjoy. She's $2.90, $3, $2.90. Generosity, $3.60, $4.20. And then they said that's enough, $3.40. Yarrowlay, $51.41. Zafira is $31.26. Bellini Miss, $21. Angel Undercover is $11. Wango Award, $18.26. Spectre, $23. Secret Attraction is $3.80. Memory Parades, $14.13. And Selfless Act, $41.
Bit of LPM early, Mart, for Bonjoy. 1,000 at the $3. Also, Secret Attraction, 700 there at the 380. And then, as Generosity continued to sort of drift out, the Eastern States pros went, that will do us, thank you, champion. We will be stepping in. And 3 or 4 of them have, 800 at the 360, 700 at the 4, 700 at the 390, another 400 there at the 4. So, yeah, Generosity, they have stepped in. So, this market, these three are really dominating, and they're sort of shoring up the bulk of the money.
Tricky little speed map in this one, Bradley, I thought, in terms of how this race might be run.
Yes, indeed. Do you think Secret Attraction will hold up?
I thought they'd lead with... yes, I found this really tricky. I think Pike would ideally like something to follow, or some cover, a leader's back sort of run for this horse. I could certainly see a scenario where she does lead. Zafira, Wango Award, potentially. Wango Award, Holly Watson going on board. We've seen her ridden positively in the past. I thought maybe they might look to ride her a bit more aggressively this time around from that wide draw, given the lack of speed in the race. Selfless Act could go forward as well. But yeah, tricky little speed map. Bonjoy, as we mentioned before the preview begun, gets here off the 6 weeks, which probably offsets the mile back to the 1,400 metres somewhat. But she's, as we know, Mart, she's just a winner. She's already proven herself off a minor setback with her win off 5 weeks in the Australia Day Trophy, which was off the back of her winning the struck the start prior to that. She's just she's a beauty. You'd suggest Railway Stakes bound if they can keep her sound a bit later on in the year. 11 wins from 18 starts, 7 wins from 10 starts at Ascot. She's the clear class, the clear best horse in the race for me. And I think the fact that you're getting near $3 or around that $3 mark's a bet. I'm happy to go again, even off the setback. And that's the way I've seen this race. I've got a lot of respect for the mares coming out of the Marjorie Charleston Generosity and Angel Undercover. Secret Attraction, I think, will be winning races in Saturday company, no doubt about that. But, yeah, $3 Bonjoy, that'll get me.
It's very well placed at the weights, isn't she, Bonjoy?
What I'm going to go for is Secret Attraction.
Yeah, I know. I can get it. Big run first up.
Yeah, I think you look at the Stewards Vision, you can make a pretty strong case that just clear air from the top of the straight, because it sort of drifted in behind, and then things got squeezy and bumpy, and yeah, you can make a pretty strong case it should have won that race. And will only improve and just look I know Riley just said Saturday class. I think this horse might have a bit more in store than that now with Peter Fernie, who's done a wonderful job with her.
And that price might... Interesting one, this one, because obviously Bonjoy is going to warrant a lot of support with her profile, Brad. But say, for example, we saw Schmoove Mover come out and blow them away in race number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You could understand off the back of that, there's likely to be a lot of support for this mare at her second run for the prep.
Will be interesting. We already know the ESPs have lined up for Generosity, so we know they will more than likely come again late. So, yeah, a lot to unfold.
Can Memory Parade sneak a place?
Definitely. Wouldn't surprise me at all if she ran on into a placing. Angel Undercover's going super. But yeah, Generosity's an interesting one because it's just been the story of her career, hasn't it, Brad? Last start, get back, rattle home, close but not close enough. And I think she may encounter a little bit of traffic from that inside draw here with her racing pattern on the weekend, and straight up to 1400 second up as well.
At least looks like she might get that slow tempo where they can bunch and she can tag right up to them and gets a chance to unleash.
Okay, just before we look at the last race, Carlton getting away a bit here, 4-4-28, and they are leading Richmond 1 point. The Kit Logistics 100 Club Networking Event, 20th of March 2025. That is the last race, Bradley, over the 1,500 metres. Time to go 5:21. And one defending is 17-15, two close at hand, 9-8, 3 special sword. Is she ever 9-10, 4 fine touch, 31-23, 5 gauge roads, 650 into 550, 6 mean machine, 7-650, 7 Mystic Jane is 13, playing Quest, 850 to 550. Number 9 is Bermulla, 126, 10 Sail Session is 444.20. 11 Forbidden Apple 20, and Trespassing 34 into 26.
Playing Quest is the one, Mart. Oh, it's the Meerkat of the race.
Wow. Your team too.
Stepped in early, 1,000 places at the 290. What are you implying? Eastern States Pros stepped in. They liked the a couple of $300 bets there at the 850. And yeah, obviously that's been a national go, not just a statewide go, Mart. A national go.
Yep.
Nash.
Aside from that, there's just a little bit of market smurging type stuff. But playing Quest, it's the one they have circled.
Yes, has to show his best at somewhere other than Bunbury. Fair to say, Brad. Hasn't had much success anywhere else in his career playing Quest.
Was 3 wide no cover last start. I don't think that made the stewards report, but was wide no cover and has fought on very nicely.
Certainly did. Really good run. Gauge Roads for our mate Wolfie is humming at the moment. They've got him back and near his best, fair to say. Wide throughout 2 starts ago. Fought on very well, only beaten half a length. Missile Storm, who had that flowing run into the race from off the speed. Last start got home really nicely in that form reference that you really like, Brad. Behind Schmoove Mover, Secret Attraction, GG Pops. I thought he was winding up really nicely over the concluding stages, suggesting the 1,500 metres might be what he's looking for and might be a box ticked for him on the weekend. The barrier is a sticking point and where he gets to in the run. Doesn't look to be a lot of speed in this race. There's horses that are going to want to hold positions, but nothing I think that'll be overly aggressive. So interesting to see what McGrady's tactics are early doors with Gauge Roads. I thought Close at Hand was a really nice win. Beat home playing Quest last start at Bunbury, who certainly had some excuses, but he's come on really nicely this campaign and was really unlucky to start prior to that behind Missile Storm. And what's the key form reference for this race as well, Brad? It looked as though he had plenty more to offer, beaten 3.5 lengths in that race, as many of them did. It was a race where there were plenty of unlucky runs in that certain event. But yeah, he's come on really well this campaign. And defending's a proven weight carrier, looks to lob in a beautiful position in running, and I thought he was a huge effort in defeat last start. I know only down in Albany, but I think he's going well enough to give this a shake.
Yeah, 100%. It's as you said, it's another mild speed map, isn't it? And I respect the money for playing Quest. I feel like Gage Rhodes Rolls has just put together a magnificent body of work, this preparation. And it's returned so well, and it could even sort of stroll to the breeze and win if things go right. So, yeah, nothing from me unless Gage Rhodes just drifts a little bit further, and then I'll be getting involved.
Yep, I'm with you, Bradley. Gage Rhodes the one I've got my eye on, but just happy to sit and wait and be patient, Martin, see what the market throws up in the last on St. Paddy's Day.
Yes, and NRL players, get your bets on because this match is about to get underway. Newcastle Knights play the Dolphins. They're $1.57 Knights. Dolphins $2.40. It's 4.5, and the total game there at 46.5. The Big Nag kicked the first goal for Richmond, and then Carlton hit back. So it's 5-4-34 leading Richmond 1-1-7. With about a minute to play. So let's round up our best bets on the card before we have a look at Narrogin and then the Bluff Knoll on Sunday down there at Albany.
Not a lot from me for the weekend, Mart. I thought it was a difficult little betting program. Happy to play in race 1 with number 3, KTY, who just really took me with the manner of that win first up, and think he could be a really nice 3-year-old sprinter, and I think William Pike suits him down to the ground. I think the gap in the market's a little big for mine, so anything, if we saw a continued drift with KTY and Schmoove Mover starts even shorter, anything near $3 is going to be a nice bet, I think, in the opening race. Race 4, Tudati, one of the better bets on the program for mine. Love how that race profiles for him. Work into the race on straightening, plenty of speed, and go bang, let rip for Donga in the 4th, and then race number 8 in the feature, the Sheila Gwynne. I think $3 Bonjoy for what I think's the best horse clearly in the race. That'll get me for a bet as well, Mart. So Bonjoy and the Sheila Gwynne.
Stay with the class.
Oh, Mart, race 3, the Juveniles, Hey True Blue. I was enamoured with its trial, so $23 will do me each way. Race 5, Hang Glider, we're getting nearly each way. So
again.
$6. Race 8, Secret Attraction, I want $4.50 plus. It'll get me in race 9. I will back Gage Rhodes if that gets to sort of $6 plus.
Jeez,
There's a bit of wolfy areas, isn't there?
Hey, whoever.
Wolfy.
Man in form.
Traction.
Nothing to do with the fact that we've just got roped them in for the quokka either.
See that? All right, let's have a look now at our betting at Narrogin on Saturday in Narrogin Cup. They started off with Friday night. They got the Red Hots on down there, and then Saturday. Just having a look at the radar, they are getting pummeled at the moment down Narrogin Way. So hopefully it's not going to affect racing at all. The Trots or the Swan Draft Narrogin Cup. And Stormageddon, is he just going to make a clean sweep out of all these cups, is he?
Why not?
Mickey G.
Why not?
Come on.
They haven't stepped in yet, Mark.
No. Come on, give us the flux.
Well, it's still there, $1.85.
Yeah.
Surely
Well, he
so.
was shorter in the Esperance Cup, wasn't
he?
$1.55.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet betting race so far.
Can the stablemate turn the tables?
Well, that's steady at the $3.40. Stormageddon, $1.85. Also steady, just because it's been a pretty quiet betting race so far. Henry the Aviator, $9. A Big Swoop, $8.50. Brave Contender, $21. Elite Fighter, $18. Prince to Kia, $31. Trubinsky, $14. Wheat Stack, $51. Mart. Punters haven't really stepped in yet, but it'll be in some multis. Roll Stormageddon.
Certainly will. Just ambled up to them in that Esperance Cup, and Clint Johnston Porter need only shake the reins a little bit in the straight there, Mart.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't his most strenuous riding fee that he's earned. That ride on Stormageddon, it was a very easy watch. Perhaps not in the middle stages where he found himself back a clear last, but once they'd fanned on that corner at Esperance, you thought, here we go.
He was moving up before that home bend, and you knew that he was just going to cover them. The younger bro gets it.
It just seemed like, though, it was like this. He was back last towards the inside, and it was almost as if he just had this saloon passage through the field where they've just said, yep, we'll get out your way.
Yep.
And there you go.
And he did the rest. So younger brother takes over, Zephyr Johnson Porter. in the Narrogin Cup.
Yep, can understand that. Zephyr Road Satino, who ran second in that Esperance Cup last start, so a really good opportunity for him. And he's looking, I will say, terrific in the saddle at the moment, Mart.
How about your man Alex Hearn riding Elite Fighter for Joshy Brown?
He was a super run. I was a bit of a query on him seeing out the trip in that Esperance Cup, but gee, he was certainly justified them going to that race. No doubt about that. He was a really good performance. I think from a place perspective, he looks a nice price there at around that $3.50 mark to run a drum. Going really well.
Before we have a look at the Bluff Knoll quarter-time score, and Carlton 5-4-34 lead at Richmond 1-1-7. Goals for Carlton Akers, Cottrell, Kemp, Williams and Francis Evans. He has scored on debut for his new club, and Nankervis kicking the goal for Richmond. Layla's already taken, Lawler, I should say. Sam Lawler has already taken a very spectacular mark. He'd be leading for the car at this stage if they gave a car away. Albany, race number 7 on Sunday is the Wellington and Reeves. Good old Barry Panizza. He's now on that much vaunted Albany Race Club committee, and I'm sure he's going to do a very good job, steer the ship. Bazza. 1 Snowdome is 360. Let's get the flux, because there's been a bit of, and I did say flux.
You're pretty excited about this.
460 to 360, just to open up. Snowdome. Some way say the winner. Mood Swings, 23. Rope them in. Now, Wolfie said, no, hang on. This can be winning this at 280. Almighty Class with Uncle Paulie, 460. Norwich, 19. Oxbridge, 16. Scissor Step, 41 into 17. What's going on there? Keep ratings 41 to 26. Morgs Freeman spec'd into 101. Ruler Rocket 61 to 31. I'm Spartacus is 101 to 71. Geez, you've got a good book here. Gift of the Hearts 126. Then Harrow said, I'm getting involved. I own the slot, I own the horse, and I'm going to back it 12 into 950. So you must be able to make a quid out of this book, surely.
Doing our best as usual. A lot of markets merging.
Oh, well.
So I will
MMs.
I'll throw that in there.
Yeah.
That little get out of jail free card. That little number. There has been money, Divine Belief. There's been at least 3 lots of 200 each way, so good support there. But Snowdome, that is proper money. There's a couple of thousand there at the 460, 500 at the 420, another 500 at the $4, and plenty of $300 bets there at the $4 as well. Snowdome, this is the one they've circled, Mart. Leading to a little bit of drifty action for Rope of the Min and Almighty Class, who are both. I reckon punters will look at both of those prices, or some punters, and think, wow, that'll almost be getting us. But starting price remains to be seen, Rolls.
Yeah, wow. Tell you what, though, one thing's for sure, Mart, the Sparks will be flying.
Yep.
In this one. Snowdome, Mood Swings, Almighty Class, Norwich, Oxbridge, Scissor Step, Divine Belief. These are all horses that generally you see them in running in the first 3.
Yep.
If not leading.
The pattern will be interesting on the day, but, what's this, 1,099, is it, from memory?
Yep.
Yeah, 1,099, the height of the Bluff. Oh, magnificent marketing, that. Sometimes in those Albany races, they don't come back. You know how you see that sometimes in Albany, that you go, they're all going to stop here and some will be getting over the top. And sometimes they don't stop. But if they are stopping, I can just see McGruddy. He's the Albany specialist amongst this lot, just cutting a path through there somewhere with the class he wrote them in.
Well, he doesn't have to settle that far back either, rope them in. He can settle pretty reasonably handy, so have been races in the past where even he's led at over longer at 1,400, I think, but even at 1,200 he's been led us back before. So,
geez, we've got a good weekend, haven't we? A terrific weekend of local racing. What's wrong?
That straight-up road show is going to be anything when we get in that little bus, you and I, Martin, Rolls, and just head down to Narrogin Friday night. And then
Yep, Friday night trots, staying overnight.
Can't wait.
Right, so
I'm just laughing, thinking back to our conversation we had with Wolfie on drive during the week, Mark, and basically said, he's forward enough to win, but we're just using this as another little barrier trial for him heading towards the Quokka.
Right.
Not a bad little clip if you can run top two in the race for a barrier trial.
And
that's for sure.
Bigger fish to fry or rope them in.
I do wish I heard that before I went up 250, Wolfie, but thanks. No problems. That's all right. We'll press on.
Pays to listen, mate. Tune in to Drive every weekday from 3 p.m.
Well, thanks for coming in, McGinnity. You've been very good.
Yeah, thanks.
We hope you enjoyed another stimulating episode of Straight Up. All betting markets supplied by Tab Touch. All care, no responsibility went into the production of today's podcast.